questions for Arif. So,
hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What is your name?
My name is Sandariari. I'm from YP70A.
My name is Ayu. I'm from YP70 Class A.
Arif.
My name is Shelly Victory. I'm from Young Professional Class A and from Syndicate 1.
So, what is your test result?
My test result indicates that I'm a caring person, I'm a proportional person, and I'm pure. So the top three highest of my result is purity, proportionality, and care.
Okay.
Value from Schwartz is conformity, self-direction, and achievement.
For my test result, there are two types of result. The first is moral foundations. My top three are care, the first, and then I have purity as the second highest, and then I have proportionality with score 4. For moral values, my top three, the highest is stimulations. It scores 6.5 from 7, but from the second highest, it scores 6. It's not just one, but I have some features like power, self-direction, benevolence, conformity, and security. So I have five values that score 6 as the second highest.
My top moral value is authority. I'm concerned regarding the respecting authority. The second one is actually loyalty. I think loyalty is actually very important in this in someone's life. For example, and equality. Equality is something like it's a balance between things and between other two peoples, something like that. My moral value, the first one is actually power. I don't know why I desire power. I think it's about a social status or control. And the second one is achievement. Achievement is something that is very special to me, that I am for achievement as well. And the third one is actually hedonism, a pleasure or senses for gratification.
My moral foundation test result, the top three is care, the second one is fairness, and the last one is purity. And for the moral value, my top three is achievement, hedonism, and universalism. And based on your test result, can you tell me about yourself?
Yeah, I think this is maybe like 40% accurate, because when I answer this, I get a lot of pressure from Kayu actually. No, keep rolling. But I think this is 40% accurate, but I don't demand that kind of power to be the first one. But actually, I am for achievement, and I think it's the second one is about conformity or security, something like that. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, so you are denial.
I'm not denying, but I don't think this is very accurate according to my answers. But it's on me.
Okay. Okay.
The first is care. Well, I care so much about a person who will need my help, and I think I can feel what others feels, like empathy, and sympathy, or something like that. I feel that I need to help others because I'm a human being, and what my morals say, I have to care about others.
And how about the others?
Second one is purity, where I got highest score 33.5, above average 2. Maybe I have a pure heart because I think it's similar with care. I tend to be more show my affection to other people who need my help. And the third of my moral foundation is proportionality. I have said in the class that equity doesn't mean everyone get the same, but everyone must get the proportional benefit from what they have done with their job, with their efforts. Yeah. That's my value.
So based on my moral foundation, my moral is built on several key foundations, such like care and fairness. So I strongly value compassion and equality and believe in treating others well and addressing issues like inequality and exploitation. While loyalty, authority, and purity also hold importance in society, I see myself as someone who focuses more on individual kindness and fairness rather than strict adherence to tradition or authority. And for my moral value, my core values are central to who I am. I value achievement, working toward personal success, and showcasing my skill important to me, as they not only fulfill me but allow me to meet society standard. I'm also drawn to stimulation and hedonism. I seek out experiences that are existing and pleasurable.
Okay, so based on my moral foundation score, I am a person who tends to prioritize decisions to protect the group of people instead of just individuals. So for the moral values, I'm kind of person who emphasize self-independency and try to encourage other people to try their best to increase their competencies to do their best in what job they are doing.
So, based on the interview before, we can conclude that these four individuals have different moral foundation and moral values, but they are quite similar. So, in this season, we will discuss by highlighting two people who are very different and two people who are somehow similar. So, let's take a look.
Okay, so based on the test result, you guys show a quite different result. Okay, so my question first is to dive in. So about you guys moral foundation, how do moral foundations and value based on Schwartz inform you guys about your own ethical decision making, especially in the business context? Maybe Kak, you can go first.
Okay, so based on my moral value, the first one is self-direction. I got the highest score here, self-direction, conformity, and achievement. So in self-direction, it reflects that independence, creativity, and the freedom to explore the new ideas. I think in business, this translates into a strong ability to me to innovate and make decisions that allow me to act autonomously without direction from my superior, for example. But I have my own direction, so I will act based on my inner feelings, like this. So I think this aligns with deontological ethics, where decisions are based on sense of duty. And second one is conformity. So despite being independence as my first value, I also place significant importance on conformity, which involves respecting social norms and acting in ways that preserve the order and harmony of the group. Yeah. Even I have my own direction, but I have to obey my superior order. In business, it may manifest that a strong sense of responsibility to uphold company policies and ethical codes. So I have to balance my personal initiative based on my inner feelings and actions that expect organizational rules and stakeholder expectation. And number three is achievement. So my achievement value is my success and personal competence, and this reflects that I will drive my high standards and measured by social benchmark. So in this business setting, this value encouraged me to aim for tangible outcomes, perhaps focusing on productivity, efficiency, and meeting financial goals. This is for my value, and how about Nia?
For me, I value fairness, helping others, and being successful in an honest way. So in business, I focus on treating people fairly, whether they are customer, they are employee or partners. and on making decisions that help everyone, not just the company. Maybe for example, if I had to decide where to spend company money,
Okay.
I like an option that not only make profit but also help the environment or support the community. But when it comes to making tough call, I'm likely to ask myself, is this choice fair or is it good for everyone involved?
Okay.
My value push me to find solutions that are not just profitable but also respectful and beneficial to people and society.
Okay.
What are your strategies to avoid moral neglect, moral justifications, to avoid moral inaction in your organizational or business decision making?
For me first?
Yeah.
Yeah, first.
So for moral neglect, this is when someone ignores ethical concern because they are focused on other things. So I thought I avoid this by making sure I or my team always review the ethical side of decision before we move forward. For example, if we are launching new product, maybe we check if it's safe, fair, and doesn't harm anyone. And for moral justification, this is when people convince themselves that a bad choice is okay. So to avoid this, I make transparency and honesty a big part of decision making. I also ask other feedback. And for moral inaction is sometimes people avoid taking action on ethical issues because it's hard or risky. To prevent this, I encourage an open culture where everyone feels comfortable to speak up
Okay.
about ethical concerns. So I also try to lead by example, showing that it's important to address ethical issue when it's tough.
I agree with you, but I have additional answer. First, I have to reflect my moral, my behavior, my inner moral. So I will recall when I face with business decision, especially ones involving potential ethical dilemmas, that will prevent moral neglect. I have to ask myself my inner feelings that I said before, engaging in reflection, encourage awareness of the ethical implications and its impact in every decisions that I made. I think I have to ask because I will value me as a religious person, not so religious, but yeah, as a Muslim person, I will tell you guys, we have to ask to our God, to Allah, to seek His bimbingan, to seek His lead, to guide me in every way that I act. And the second one, I will use principles like that I valued before, like proportionality and purity and everything that evaluate my actions. I will ensuring that my action is aligned with my contributions, and I think it will help me to avoid the moral justification where one might rationalize unethical behavior by overstating the benefits of a decision. And the third one, I have to ensure the culture of accountability. Well, in the company, in the most major company, they have their own code of conduct that guide their employee to behave as a employee, as a person, as a business person. So I have to make sure that my action is on the track with the code of conduct from my company, from my organization. So it will promote a culture of openness and authority with clear reporting structures and compliance measures. So it will help avoid moral inaction by ensuring every individual feels responsible for ethical decisions making. I think that's my answer.
Okay, so in what way do or should theories that you already answered before of ethics for deontological consequentialism, virtue ethics, and stakeholder theory inform you about how to solve ethical issues or dilemmas in your business decision making? Maybe you can relate you guys' answers to whenever it is possible to legal aspects or business such as contract or maybe sustainability related aspects.
Me first. So yeah, based on my value of fairness, care, and kindness, these ethical theories give me a practical guide for handling difficult decisions. Like first, deontology reminds me to stick to my promises and following the rules, helping me make choices that are honest and respectful. So this approach is useful when I need to uphold agreements or stay true to policy even when it's challenging. For virtue ethics resonates with my belief in treating people well and acting with empathy, encourage me to build trusting relationship and foster a positive, supportive environment. And for utilitarianism, help me look at bigger picture of by considering the impact of my choices and everyone involved, aiming to create the best outcome for as many as possible. So this fit with my desire to make decisions that benefit not just the business but also employees, customers, and the community. So by combining this approach, I can make balanced decisions that respect my commitments, show compassion, and focus on creating positive results for all.
Okay, first from the ontological ethics, I think this theory aligns well with my respect for the purity because it advocating that some actions are inherent right or wrongly regardless of the consequences. So when considering legal aspect like contracts, I think deontology demands strict rules to agreed terms, reinforcing the moral duty to the commitments. And second one is consequentialism. So with my emphasis, I think it may often weigh the outcomes of the business decisions. It suggests that the best decision is one that maximizes the benefit and which can guide decisions in sustainability, ensuring that my organization's practice positively impact to the environment and the society. And the virtue ethics, I think this approach encourages fostering personal and organizational virtues like honesty, integrity, and care. My balanced moral foundations on care and quality indicate that fostering a culture of well-being and fairness could be a central strategy, especially in the sustainability efforts where long-term trust is built through virtuous action. And the last one is stakeholder theory. I think it's rooted in the values of universalism and benevolence. So this requires that decisions consider the interests of all stakeholders, not just shareholders. In legal and sustainability context, it emphasizes fair treatment of employee, suppliers, and the environment, ensuring the decisions are ethical across the board.
So I see that maybe you focus on like own goals, following social norm, and more flexible with ethical boundaries. And like for me, I focus strongly on caring others, sticking to high ethical standard, and making sure everyone is treated fairly. So maybe that's why we're different.
Yeah, we're different, but I think even we different in some actions, we have similar or same goals in the end. I think this blend of values and moral foundation for from us, I think we can be a leader that balance personal innovation with respect for norms while maintaining a strong sense of justice and care for others.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we already accept your result. From previous discussion between me and Nia, it suggests that we have different result, but you guys have similar result of the moral value and the foundation. So let me ask you the question.
Okay.
First, how do moral foundations and values based on the Schwartz theory informs you about your own ethical decision making, especially in the business context? Maybe from Sally or Harry first?
Maybe from me first, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so my top three are first care. So I tend to care for others' well-being, and I tend to protect my coworkers based on my previous experience in the working. And yeah, it's aligned because my score is 3.5 from 5. And then the second highest is purity. It shows that for my integrity and ethical cleanliness. So I think when people follow the existing rules that has a beneficial for general people, for all of us, I think we should follow the rules. But when the rules is different, it's different from our self-value, from our principles, I think we do not have to follow that. So yeah, the purity is kind of depends with the score 2.5. And then proportionality, it's kind of different with equality. When equality, we know that everyone should get the same portion, the same amount. But proportionality, I think people should get what based on their performance, based on their hard work. So I kind of people who do not believe that even though you are not working hard, you should get the same with me or maybe the others who has working very hard. For my moral values, it's kind of different with others because my highest score is stimulations. So I kind of people who will get bored easily in the same environment. So I tend to enlarge my comfort zone, and I tend to seek the new challenges. So I want to keep on growing myself, my skills, and it has the high score, 6.5. But for the second highest with 6 scores, as I said before, I have 5 values. The first is power, self-direction, benevolence, conformity, and security. On the positive side, it means I kind of person who can adapt in any kind of environment. I can adapt as an agile person. But on the kind of negative side, I kind of person who do not have identity. So I just follow the situation, follow my intuition, and it's kind of different from one to another. So when I make a decision, actually, in general, I tend to the first I prioritize is it this decision will harm another people in general or not, and I tend to follow the rules as long as it's not different with my principles. I think for I, how about you?
Okay.
Yeah, I think according to my Schwartz value test, I value authority and loyalty because I think in the business context, authority is coming from the higher hierarchy for something. Yeah, I think that you should be respected the authority of the hierarchy of the organization, and loyalty. I think loyalty is very important to a company because the return of something that we could give in the early and return in the end is actually quite huge. And for the foundation, I value universalism and benevolence. But I think I might. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, the second question is, what are your strategies to avoid moral neglect, moral justification, and moral inaction in your organizational or business decision making? Please answer.
Maybe I can go first.
Okay.
I think to avoid moral neglect, I think I should focus on consistency in checking my decisions and against my core values, especially authority and loyalty. I think it guides me toward commitments, respecting commitments and working within ethical boundaries. To counter my moral justification, I use accountability systems, like discussing this decision with colleagues or mentors who might have different perspectives. It's avoiding to bend ethical rules. And when it comes to moral inaction, highest regard, I think my highest high regard for authority and structure works to my advantage. I'm likely to act when I believe it's my duty or when I'm in action with organizational guidelines. However, I make an effort to stay proactive, by setting clear ethical goals.
Oh, actually, I have questions for Arif. So the first is saying that you have a strong value in loyalty and authority.
Mhm.
So how do you avoid for the moral negatives? We know in some.
So this is personal thing, guys.
Kelihatan kaget.
You scared?
Kelihatan kaget.
Okay.
Aku
Go on.
lagi ya.
Nggak ada cerita aja.
No, saya nanya lagi. Go on, Sa.
Go on.
What is your question for Arif?
Okay, so I have a question for Arif. So for your moral foundations, you have a strong value in authority and loyalty. So let's say you work in an organization where corruption, maybe or taking credits from your coworkers is a common thing. Since you have a strong value in authority and maybe loyalty towards your manager or maybe your higher position, how do you try to avoid it?
I think if the core value of the foundation of or the organization is actually corrupt, I think that you should be better get out of that environment, because it kind of like something like you have a positive return and negative return. Negative, you might go to jail. The positive one, you might get corruption. But I think in ethical in a moral way, I don't think it's a very good way to consider this. Yeah, I think I will go out of the organization.
So Indonesian ya.
Yeah.
I know it's hard in Indonesia.
Dikit-dikit resign. Alright.
Okay, so I'll answer my
Yeah.
questions.
You
It's
answer
my-
your.
It's my turn, right?
Yeah.
So for moral neglect, we know with moral neglect when we tend to avoid the violence of rule or anything. So since my values have strong score in the benevolence, universalism, conformity, and security, so I think I can apply some of these. The first is if a company have rules or maybe policy for their employee, I will try to regularly assess the policy. Is it good or bad for the employees, for the customers, until the stakeholder? So if the policy or maybe regulations maybe affect negatively for some employees, maybe we can adjust it until it's become a perfect rule for everyone. And it's kind of related to the feedback loops. So the regulations maybe or the projects, I will maintain regular feedback, asking for feedback and try to improve based on the feedback from the employee or maybe us customers, stakeholders. And the third one, I will try my best to promote ethical awareness in my team first, and then I will try to in the divisions or maybe in the organizational if I have I have the power to influence other people to follow the rules in the company. For how to avoid moral justifications, I think because I have a proportionality the highest score amongst the other, I can minimize the justification by first I will try to set a clear target KPI and maybe or merit-based standard, so the competency of each employee or my team is based purely on their performance, not just from my relations to my coworkers. And then I will encourage transparency in decision making, so we know that each regulations, each policy in the company, it will affect very strong to the employees. So I will try to encourage the transparency and then benchmark actions against universal values. We know that for the international rights we have from the outside and from the government rules, so when we create the regulations, it should be aligned with the external rules that exist we follow. To avoid moral inaction, I think since I also have the value in conformity, security, self-direction, maybe I will try to minimize it by create a structured decision-making process. It's the same with the before when I try to transparency how a decision is made, and then I try to appoint ethical responsibility champions. So maybe if a company have lack of transparency, maybe the managerial don't want to share anything, how does a rule is made, and I will maybe encourage to create a responsibility team to ensure that each decision is created by transparency and based on their integrity. And I think based on my values and foundation scores, I think that's the answer.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Okay, the last question is, in what way do or should the theories of the ethics, like we mentioned before, deontological, consequentialism, virtuous stakeholder, etc., inform you about solving ethical issues or dilemmas in your business decision making? Please relate your answer whenever possible to legal aspects of business, such as contract and sustainability related aspects.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Honey first? Okay.
Yeah, I think the usage of those theories like the deontologism. What's the other second?
Consequentialism.
Consequentialism and virtue
Virtue ethics.
is actually used in a very different occasion. I think if the standards of ethics that you should follow is actually deontologism, because I think it's the first value or the virtue. I think it's the first value to something that you might in your work area. I think in your surroundings. And second one is actually consequentialism. I think it is based on problems. Yeah, I think it is. If it's based on problem, I think I will use consequentialism. But the deontologism and virtue is actually at the first one, because I think it's the guideline to something that we should do. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, I think for me is for the deontological ethics, since I had the values in some result before. So I think deontological ethics, same as Arif. So when I'm in a situation that requires strict compliance, or maybe I relate so closely with ethical or legal standards, and maybe I should in a situation when I have to do the job based on duty commitments, respecting the legal and moral obligations. So in the third situations, maybe I should, when in a situation when I should promote policies that are consistent and principles. It should emphasize my commitment to respect and establish norms and obligations. For consequentialism, outcome-based. So I think since I have the highest value in proportionality and universalism, so I think for this one, I will rely heavily with the long-term impact. So maybe if I in a situation to pass the product that didn't meet the standard result, the existing standard, and maybe in the short term it will beneficial for my company, I think I will strongly disagree with that, because based on the outcome based, it will affect the company in the long term. So I will try to save the company. Maybe in the short term, I will be kind of
strict.
Yeah, I will be strict with that. So for the third, fit to ethics, maybe I will try to prioritize my ethical development within the organization. So, and then approach for maintaining transparency and authenticity in decision making. So I think for my test result, decision making is part of values that I want to emphasize and I value really high. And then for the V2 ethics, I think it will be very helpful for me for maintain the sustainability and contract management in the company, when I could reinforce the importance of honesty and loyalty. So I could encourage business relationship to gain their trust. This is for me. Okay, I will go ahead. So based on our discussion and our answer before, I think our personality is kind of similar when we align well with the combination of ethical frameworks. So in the deontological ethics and stakeholder theory, we align with our duty and we respect the security and harmony, well, with our consequentialism and V2 ethics. From us, we support the emphasize proportionality, benevolence, and universalism. So when we integrate these values and perspectives, we could make ethical decisions that consider both individual and societal needs, and then we can legally secure and but we are still aware that the welfare of a diverse set of stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Throughout today's discussion, we have explored how decision making can vary dramatically depending on an individual's moral value and moral foundation. As we have seen, even when people share similar ethical frameworks, their personal experience, belief, and priorities can lead them down very different paths. Understanding this difference helps us appreciate the complexity of human judgment and remind us that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to morality. By recognizing the diverse ways people make decisions, we can foster deeper empathy, respect, and collaboration across all walks of life. That's all from Syndicate 1. Thank you for watching.
Yang mana sih?
So this is personal